So, personal development, right? Everybody's got to work on that. That needs to be a center of focus for anyone, right? You don't want to be the same person always, because if you're the same person always, then chances are you're not going to go far, or you're not going to go farther than what you currently are in life. And that's that's a hard pill to swallow. Because all of us want to grow, all of us want to exceed our current situation and get to that next level. I think the biggest problem, though, that a lot of us face, and I was actually just having a conversation with my fiance about this, is the fact that nobody wants to accept the criticism that's needed to go to that next level. Everybody likes being told that they're doing a great job. Everybody likes the idea of being told that, hey, you are phenomenal and well-skilled and well-versed and well-trained and all those other things. And that part always, everyone's happy to hear that, right? You're always happy to hear somebody tell you you're doing a phenomenal job, that you're doing a great job, that you know so much or care so much or whatever. But nobody wants to be told that they need to work on things. And I don't know, I view this as a double standard to a degree, because we as humans, right, we all love to share our opinions. We all love giving our opinions about everything. Politics, music, media, choices, music, jobs, job description, job title. Like, there's so many different things that everyone loves to speak to. And everyone's got an opinion about everything. And that's fine. But if you're going to have an opinion, then you got to recognize that other people have an opinion too. And then you got to also recognizing that other people have an opinion is recognizing the fact that everyone's opinion is not going to line up with yours. So while you might think that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, or that you really are like on top of your game, you have to recognize that there are going to be people out there, aka haters, because like that's the term that everybody uses these days, to recognize the fact that those people exist and that they don't feel the same way, they don't have the same opinion you have. By the way, haircut. I'm so happy I got my haircut. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But they don't want to, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear other people's opinions. You don't want to listen to somebody else say something that's opposing what you believe or what you think or how you feel about any particular thing that you're doing. And believe me when I say, not all criticism is good. As a leader, like, I recognize when there's constructive criticism and when there's not. Like, there's a difference between telling somebody they're not good at something and then trying to tell or telling somebody how to pivot to make it better. So constructive criticism is typically when you're trying to pivot somebody to be better. So you want to make sure that you're telling them, like, hey, you're not good at communication. I think that if you ... you'll get a better result. That is constructive criticism. That's tailoring the message and trying to get it to a place of betterment. That person is getting something out of what you're telling them, that they're able to draw some sort of wisdom or some sort of hack from what you're saying, so that they can do this thing that you're saying they're not doing well, and either do it at your performance level that you expect, or just to do it better all the way around. There's also criticism. Which is like not constructive criticism, obviously. Criticism is when you bash somebody without any real how-tos to make things better. And like I'll tell you, parents do this probably more than anybody else. Like, I'm calling out parents. I just am. I'm a parent, so I get to do this, right? I have 6 kids. I get to call you out. Criticism is when you tell somebody that they're not doing well at something, but not giving them expectation to pivot. That's wrong. It's wrong in multitudes of ways. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't make anything better. It literally is one of the worst things you can do. Because you make the person feel lesser than what they did prior to the conversation, but then you don't give them anything that's going to help them be better moving forward. So they're kind of left trying to figure that out. And unfortunately, like, parents do this the most, because parents don't, for whatever reason, and I do believe this kind of like comes from a timeline, you know. I think that this comes from our parents, how they talk to us, and that's why we do this with our kids. But we'll tell our kids, hey, you're doing this wrong. Hey, stop being a crappy person. Hey, stop your mood, your attitude, whatever. But we actually don't give them any advice to better it. So they're kind of left with the understanding that what they're doing is wrong, or semi-wrong, or not of etiquette, or not proper, but they're not given any steps really to move forward out of that. So they're kind of left figuring it out on their own. And the same can be said out of work, right? As a leader, if you give criticism, but you don't actually give guidance with that criticism, then you're leaving a blind spot to the employee. So they have to try to figure out, okay, well, I'm not supposed to do it this way. How else can I do it, though? I want to bring this up, and I know this video, like, I started this off kind of weird, but I want to bring this up because I feel like the biggest problem that we face currently with parenting, with leadership, with work environment, with friendships, with relationships, with all the different facets, right? All these different facets of life is that we throw this fake, false expectation that if we complain about it, that it just fixes itself, you know? If we complain about it, then the person will recognize what they're doing is wrong, and they will change their behavior to match what we want. And that's not real. That's not real, because if we don't give the right expectation, or we don't give the right guidance to pivot and to produce better result, then that person's just going to take shots in the dark on how to make things better and how to do stuff. And that's a big problem, because then you're still not going to be happy, because you're not getting the results that you want. They're not going to be happy because they're not going to produce the results that are being sought after, you know? So for instance, like, be honest with your wife. Be honest with your wife. If she makes a crappy meal, be honest with her. Now, obviously do it out of love. Like, I'm not saying go at her throat over it and be like, hey, you made a crappy meal, but be honest with her and be like, so I wasn't a real big fan of tonight's dinner, ... and try to give an explanation, but then come on the backside and be like, I think it would be better if you did, or you changed, or added, or whatever. or even nix the whole idea altogether, but like give some level of advice on the backside without just coming at it that thing that was made was nasty and not good and you don't like it. When your kid acts out, correct them, but then correct them with the understanding of what how you should have acted, or what you should have said, or how you should have treated this situation, or what you could have done better and give them an explanation. I try to explain to my kids every time I talk to them. Like, if I reprimand them for a behavior or an action, I try to make sure that I have a conversation with them and have them explain it back to me so they understand, so I know they understand, and so that they understand where my point of view is. Criticism is a horrible, horrible thing. Constructive criticism can make a world of difference in so many different ways. I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know this video is a little bit more on the coaching technical side of the scope, but I hope you got something out of it, because I feel like constructive criticism is a phenomenal tool. Criticism in of itself is nasty and ugly, but constructive criticism, as long as used correctly, man, we could make our relationships with our children better, our relationships with our wives better, our relationships with our spouses, I should say, because any female, this obviously applies to you too. Like, tell your husband, like, hey, why can't you do this with dinner? Why can't you do this, different? Anyway, constructive criticism is a phenomenal tool. It helps develop some of the greatest leaders in the world, as long as it's used correctly. Same way with your kids, same way with your spouse. It's just an overall good thing. I'm out.